Hello friends, this is Durga from my university. As part of the guided workshop or guided training with respect to data engineering, I just opened up for broader audience or more people. And as I have opened up for more people a bit late, as the training started 1 week back, I'm conducting this catch-up session so that people can catch up over this long weekend and be up to speed with others. And also I have extended the program or enrollment for the program until May 31st. So if you are graduating this summer from US University, you can sign up for the training and then we can take it further. That being said, now let me actually walk through the agenda and also let me set the path to catch up quickly by going to the pre-recorded videos as part of the earlier sessions. Make sure that you are focused and understand whatever I'm talking about, especially those aspects where you have to watch the videos and catch up a bit faster. You can avoid some of the noise and accelerate a bit if you follow this session closely. That being said, let me open the PowerPoint first. So the prerequisites for this program is you need to have a decent laptop with decent configuration. When I say laptop with a decent configuration, at least you should have 8 GB RAM and i5 dual core. But the ideal configuration to get most value out of this program with a lot more productivity is having i7 quad core with 16 GB RAM with Windows or Ubuntu, or if it is Mac, well and good. Mac is the best bet compared to anything else, because the reason why I'm saying Mac is the best bet is due to the fact that almost all the desktop tools work seamlessly with Mac and Windows. Some tools such as Tableau, they might not work if you are using Ubuntu based desktop, even if you have high-end configuration. Again, you have to fall back onto Windows to actually do some of the tasks or perform some of the tasks that will be given to you as part of the program. If you have to use Tableau or Power BI, they might not be available on other systems than Mac or Windows. So that's where there will be few challenges if you go with Ubuntu. If you have Mac with 16 GB RAM and i7 quad core, which is nothing but the latest version of MacBook Pro released in past couple of years, you should be able to use it very effectively and take it further. So you need to have a laptop with decent configuration. You need to have basic programming skills. You don't need to be an advanced programming skill. You don't need to have an advanced programming skill, but at least you should be comfortable with programming skill or comfortable with the core aspects of programming. And also you should be available and active as part of the Slack channel. The third one is very important. If you show the enthusiasm, I will definitely be interested in guiding you and close some of the important gaps. You need to compare yourself with others based upon their background and all, and you have to put some additional effort. If you are active in the Slack channel, I can understand your level, and then I can take it further. So I want to rename this program as Data Engineering Bootcamp. I'm getting a US veteran as advisor to actually design the delivery of the program in line with the US military training. So I will be dividing into 3 phases. I will give the details at a later point in time. And based on the level of you, I will create additional Slack private channels, and I will place you in those different Slack channels within 3 to 4 weeks. And then based upon your level, I will actually cover some of those gaps so that you can put some additional effort and be up to speed with the others, or at least you build some of the foundational skills which are lagging because of your background. You might not be from computer science background. Some of the master students might already have some prior experience in India. You might not have that experience back in India. You just came for masters. So you cannot be at the same level with those who already have experience in India and who pursued computer science masters if you are not from computer science background and if you are a fresher completely without any prior experience, right? So you might not be able to pick all the skills the others will pick up over this 3-4 months boot camp, but I will make sure that your foundation is set, and then you can actually accelerate from there by picking up the required skills to be market ready. That being said, at the personal level, on top of this laptop basic programming skills and also being available and active as part of Slack channel, you also need to have uh, 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 analytical and comprehension skills. If you don't have analytical and comprehension skills, then I will not be able to add too much of value as part of the program. I will not be hand holding you. It has to be self driven. You have to motivate yourself and put effort to pick up the skills. I will just guide you through to make sure that you reach wherever you deserve. Okay, so without analytical skills and without comprehension skills, you will not be getting too much of value from this program. No matter what background you are from, as long as you have decent analytical skills and decent comprehension skills, you should be able to pick up the skills required to be a successful IT professional. If not 3 months, it might take 4 to 6 months. It's just a matter of time, but you will be there. That being said, what is the curriculum for this program? Um, Programming using Python. I will reiterate some of the important aspects with respect to the Python programming so that you really understand how to build applications using Python as programming language at enterprise level. Okay. Also, I will make sure you are comfortable with SQL and Linux. Linux, I will not be focusing on. I will not be focusing too much on Linux directly, but over a period of time you will automatically become comfortable with Linux as you practice based on the environment we are going to build over a period of time. Initially you will have significant amount of hiccups if you are not from computer science background or if you never used Linux before, but over a period of time you will get comfortable. Okay. But I will make sure that you are comfortable with SQL. SQL is one of the core skill for data engineering, and hence I will make sure you are comfortable with SQL. Then I will talk about data engineering. Data engineering is all about using Python, SQL, etc., and build applications to process the data. What it is, I will actually demonstrate after this slide. But data engineering is one of the core aspect as part of this program. You will be spending a lot of time in data engineering and big data. Okay, once you pick up these skills, assuming you are good in Python and SQL, then you should be able to pick up data engineering on cloud with ease. It will not take significant amount of time. So I'll be covering data engineering on cloud also. I will be talking about use cases and we will be doing proof of concepts also. Yeah, they have mentioned to you, the program is self-driven with expert guidance. That means you need to put at least 20 hours to 60 hours every week, depending upon your level. 60 hours might not be realistic if you are pursuing if you are still pursuing graduation. At least you have to put 20 hours per week so that you get value out of this. If you put less than 20 hours, you will not be going anywhere, and you should not give up until at least 6 weeks. So if you are expecting a magic bullet that you will be gaining so much of knowledge within a week or two, it is not the case. It will take at least 3 to 6 months depending upon your level, and you should not give up at least for 6 weeks, even if it is chaotic, even if you are not getting into your head. Stick to the program, try to analyze yourself whether you are improving or not on regular basis, and if you are improving, make sure you stick to it, and after 6 weeks you will be able to start connecting dots back, as Steve Jobs said, right? So one of the Steve Jobs amazing speeches about connecting the dots back. It might be chaotic at this juncture, but once you learn these things and once you think back and once you start connecting the dots back, you will understand the significance of it. So don't give up. Stick to it at least for 6 weeks before you give up. You will be picking some of the key skills. Even if you are not interested in IT, you can leverage those things elsewhere depending upon the path you choose. Okay, so the main aspect of this program is it's self-driven with expert guidance. From the guidance perspective, I will cover about my commitment very soon. And also I will make sure that you are comfortable with the tools. and also I will talk about overview of agile process as it evolve. So these are the things which will be covered, and once you pick up these things, you should be able to relate to the enterprise world very easily. What are the expectations from you? Duration is 12 to 16 weeks. You have to attend these things, and I will continue supporting you beyond that also. If you are a bit slow learner, but if you are showing commitment and if you are progressing, I will definitely help you even beyond that. But for at least next 12 to 16 weeks, I will make sure that I am available 1 hour every day to help you wherever you stuck. That is dedicated time. On top of it, I will be able to help you in some of the issues over Slack. Sometimes you might Google around and try to fix the issue for a couple of hours, but if I see that issue, I might be able to provide the answer within a minute. So you will definitely get that kind of support also. And keep in mind that Slack is the primary mode of communication. Make sure you are part of the Slack. If you don't get invitation to the Slack, let me know. I will make sure that you are added to Slack during this session itself. And the dedicated time from me is 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time almost every day. There will be periodic live sessions, mandatory to attend some of the sessions, which will be highlighted. So I will highlight as part of the Slack to ensure that you join. If it is a very important session, I might even send the email invite. But I might not be sending the email invites for all the sessions after a couple of weeks. Once you are active in Slack, that will save my time and also probably your time. You don't need to check the emails and all. And also I will be conducting surveys to keep track of the progress and make sure that you give the true feedback, or yeah, make sure you are sincere in answering those surveys, because you are not going to lose anything here. Okay, that will give the real picture about you, and I'll be able to help you in some course correction based upon the feedback you provide as part of the surveys. It's about your assessment only, so the feedback is all about yourself, whether you have completed a particular task or not, whether these concepts are clear to you or not. And then depending upon the feedback, I will plan for live sessions and make sure that those concepts are clarified in your mind. No matter which background you come from, I will try to clear a lot of these confusions over a period of time. Also, one thing which you should focus is be comfortable with typing. It is very, very important. None of us take it very seriously. Make sure you become comfortable with the typing. How to achieve that? Um, there is a typing.com website. Immediately after today's session, what I would recommend is go to typing.com, and then there are tests here. Let me log in. Okay, if you go here, there are tests. Once you log in, you can go to the tests and you can take these 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute test. I would highly recommend you to take 3 minute test and assess your speed. If your speed is less than 45 words per minute with less than 95% accuracy, then you have to focus on learning typing. The reason why you have to focus on typing is, if you really think about it, your whole life you will be spending at least a couple of hours every day on typing. If you type for a couple of hours, if your typing speed is only 15 words per minute, then hardly you will be typing couple of hours means 120 minutes, right? 120 into 15, which is nothing but 1800 words per day. You will be typing 1800 words per day. However, if the given the overhead about thinking and all, let's assume that you reach the level of 45 words per minute rather than 15 words per minute, at least you will be saving 50% of your typing time. Means you will get 1 hour extra in your life on regular basis, which is significant. That is a direct improvement in your productivity. Out of 40 hours, if you are getting 1 hour back, it is kind of 2.5% of improvement in productivity, and that is direct improvement. there will be significant amount of indirect improvement in your productivity. What is that indirect improvement? When you actually play cricket or play badminton or anything, right? Eye and hand coordination is very important. If you know typing, even while you work, your eye and hand coordination will be better. You will be making fewer mistakes, and most of the times when you actually have a typo in your code, and if you try to Google, then Google will give inconsistent answer because it cannot expect how to respond to your typos, right? So it will give incorrect answers and you will not be able to get most accurate answer very easily. That's where you will end up spending too much of time and it will demotivate you to solve those problems, and you might give up. But if you are comfortable with typing and if you start making fewer mistakes with respect to typos and all, there might be significant amount of improvement in your productivity in indirect manner. In my perspective, at least you will get 30% of your professional life, or 30% of improvement in the productivity of your day-to-day job. So if you are achieving so much of stuff today, then you will be achieving 30% more. As part of the job, you might not be able to use that 30% time in the job itself. You might be able to deliver stuff faster, but you should be able to spend time in learning new skills or social marketing using LinkedIn so that you build your career over a period of time. So these are the things which you can which you can spend that time on, which will give very good returns over the period of your career. So make sure you are comfortable with the typing, okay, and make sure you practice at least 1 hour a day until you go to 40 to 45 words per minute with 95% accuracy. And don't jump onto the tests and practice only tests. You have to learn it methodically so that you can pick the skills faster. My daughter, who is 11-year-old, is already at 15 word per minute, and her accuracy is 95%. And some of the employees who join my company, even after 1 year professional experience, their speed is at that 15 to 18 words per minute, even after practicing for a few days. So and now his typing speed have improved quite a bit, but still he has long way to go to 45 words per minute. And I have seen people enjoying their work once they get comfortable with typing. So make sure you focus on that, pick up the typing skills, and then be part of this training program. Definitely we'll see significant amount of value within next 3 to 4 months. That being said, now let me actually get into few details with respect to what we are going to learn. For that, first I want to explain you details related to a web application or mobile application. So when it comes to web or mobile application, you will have a client. The client can be browser. For example, if it is Amazon.com or Flipkart.com, you typically have a browser. You will go to that website and then you will start working with that. Sometimes we might have a desktop app or mobile app. In mobile, most of them are apps. It might not be websites, but in desktop, for some of the tools, we have desktop app also. So when we say client, it can be desktop app also, which means we might have downloaded and installed a particular software to use the service provided by that software. For example, Slack have something called as the Slack app. You should be able to download and install so that you will get notification whenever I post a message or something. Let me show that. So this is my Slack app, which I have downloaded and installed. And you can see that I'm part of 6 workspaces now. Our workspace, which you should be part of, is nothing but this ITversity Data Engineers workspace. And we have a channel called as US Grads 2020 Summer. I hope most of you are part of this. Okay, so instead of using website, or instead of going to browser and going to Slack website, if you actually download and install Slack app, it might be a bit more seamless interaction between you and me compared to having compared to accessing Slack via website. How to install? You just Google around and you should be able to pick up. Just say download Slack app on Windows or Mac, and you should be able to take it further. Here, why I am highlighting this? When it comes to the 1 minute. I have to go to this slideshow. Let me move this away. Yeah, when it comes to the client, it can be desktop app also. The example is nothing but that Slack app which I have shown. And then when it comes to, so there seems to be a question. Let me take this question. Yeah. So Hariprasad have pinged me his email. I will add him his email towards the end of the session. Okay. Now, when it comes to a web or mobile app, you will have something called as web or app server that will be running in the data center. All the traffic will be directed by these web or app servers. So for whether you are using Gmail or Slack, or you are using your bank website and all, uh, in their data center, there will be something called as web or app server. If you already have experience, you might have heard about Tomcat, JBoss, if you are from Java background. If you have experience with Python based application development, you have something called as uh, a Gunicorn server, where we can host the Python based applications. You might also heard about Apache web server, Nginx server, etc. So all these fall under this web or app server category. They typically uh, uh, process the data which is submitted by the client, and apply certain business logic on top of it, and then data will be stored in the database. The actual data, that is nothing but your username, password, your credit card number, if you are trying to purchase using Amazon or Flipkart, all the data eventually get into the database. That's where data will be stored permanently. And then you will have a network switch and firewall between the servers and the databases. Even between each and every server, the traffic will go through something called a network switch and firewall, similar to our Wi-Fi router at home, right? If you have to talk to other computers, you have to be connected to the internet, or you have to connect those computers directly. If you want to set up a private network within your home, you might have to buy a switch, and you have to connect both the computers via switch if you don't have Wi-Fi at home, right? So that's where the switch and firewall comes into picture. All the servers and databases will be connected with the switch and firewall, and also the external traffic also comes through the network switch. So the internet cable will be connected to a centralized switch, and from there the cable will go to the another network switch, to which the actual servers on which our applications are running will be connected to. And then there are certain aspects of security which is taken care automatically. That's where firewall comes into picture. You don't need to break your head at this time to become a data engineer about this switch and firewall, but at a higher level, this is how the overall application will look like. The clients will send the data to web or app server, and then web or app server process the data and store the data into the database. All the transactions and everything will go to the database. So if you go to Amazon.com and if you try to purchase a product, the underlying data associated with your order, using which you have placed the product, will go to a database like this. Okay. And then if you actually visualize, one of the data source for us to actually understand what is happening in website, in e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, etc., is nothing but database. And other thing is web or app servers. For example, when you go to Amazon.com or Flipkart.com, right? What you do, you might do window shopping, which means you might actually go and search for multiple products, and you might see what is the price, and you might want to see the deal about it. You might not want to purchase immediately. You might want to go around for shopping and check in other websites also, and wherever it is cheaper, you might want to buy from there, right? Which is a highly likely scenario with each of us. So in that case, um, for example, if I am setting up a home theater, and many of you also are setting up home theater, if Amazon can understand the such patterns, they can actually come up with some recommendations to attract these visitors or window shoppers as buyers. To convert these window shoppers or visitors to buyers, they might come up with some offers or something other, and to achieve that, they have to understand the patterns. What are the searches individuals like you and me are actually searching for in affiliation with the other products. For example, if I want to set up a home theater with 55-inch TV, I might buy a 55-inch 3D TV. I might buy few pairs of 3D glasses. I might buy few HDMI cables. I might buy furniture. I might buy sound system, game console, etc. Right? So I might add everything into the cart and see the price, and probably I want to move away from it and go to other website and see the price of the same set of products in other websites. Similarly, some of you might want to purchase only 3D TV. However, you want to buy some accessories also. What are those accessories you will be buying? Probably few pairs of 3D glasses and HDMI cables, right? Some other person might buy TV and furniture. Some other person might buy TV and home theater, right? And if we combine all these things, we should be able to identify the patterns, and we can target the customers to become buyers from visitors. Okay. However, if we start storing all the such data by me, you, etc., into the database, then the database will not be reliable. It will break at one point or the other. That's where if you as most of you are from Indians, as most of you are Indians and you are from India, I'm taking this example of IRCTC. If you hear about IRCTC 10 years back, it is almost unusable. You never able to purchase tickets online using IRCTC website, because every request used to go to the database. Then they took care of certain architectural changes where the search doesn't go to the database directly. And also, if you don't purchase the ticket, most of the actions which you perform might not go to the database directly. As the traffic to the database is reduced, now it is performing a lot more better. Same issues will occur even with websites like Amazon.com and Flipkart.com if they do not think through about the scale, and if they store everything in database, then the database will give up. To avoid that, what they do, instead of writing into the database, there is something called as logging. So whenever something happens in web or app server, data will be logged into something called as log files, and we can actually capture that data and push to some target, and we should be able to process there to understand these relationships between the products that are being purchased. So for a simple e-commerce platform, irrespective of the size, you will have at least two data sources. One is database, second one is web or app server logs, from which you should be able to capture the data, and then the data will go to these targets. The targets can be files, databases, big data clusters, or data warehouses, external applications, etc. I will give you some examples to make sure that you understand the relevance of these things. I have covered these as part of the earlier videos also, but I want to quickly cover this very important aspect so that you understand what we are going to achieve over a period of time as part of this training. Okay, so what is the relevance of files? In Amazon.com, there are vendors also. The vendor can be you and me. I can sell some products by starting my own business. For example, I have good follower base now. Let's say I want to promote some high-end laptops and I want to sell those high-end laptops. I can become a vendor in Amazon, and I will be able to sell the laptops. However, if I get the details about my orders or my business from Amazon.com, about how many orders are being placed, how people are giving the feedback, and all those things, that will definitely help me to understand what is going on around, and I will be able to improvise on my business process so that I get good feedback and also I get good profits. Okay. That being said, uh, uh, that being said, um, yeah, as a vendor, I want to get the data from websites like or from the platforms like Amazon. So Amazon provides data in the form of files. Not only Amazon, most of the common websites will actually provide data in the form of files. Websites like or platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn also provide data in the form of files. For example, if you go to the linkedin.com, so there is a question. I will take all the questions, but bear with me. Once I cover this, I will take some of the questions. If you want, you can go to the linkedin.com, and if you actually go to settings and privacy here, if you look at how LinkedIn uses your data, you can actually say get a copy of your data. You can choose these things. Let's say I want to get details about my imported contacts, invitations, connections. Actually, let me try this large data archive. I want to get everything. You can actually look at this and see what all you get. And then you can say request archive. So they say that your download will be ready in about 24 hours. So they have to go back to the databases in asynchronous fashion. And once they collect the data, they will provide us the link here, and I should be able to download. Okay, so that's where the files come into picture. So from the enterprise, we might end up getting the data to the vendors or even the customers in the form of files. Even if you are a PayPal user as a business owner, um, even in that scenario, you should be able to get the reports about the orders that are being placed through your PayPal account and all. So I use PayPal quite extensively, and I get data in the form of files. And then databases. We might have some complementary databases for our business, for our business growth, or for customer service, etc. So we pick some of the important data from our actual data sources, and we port that data into the database, and we start using it. For example, let's say I want to run a loyalty program. I want to segregate my customers, or classify my customers into groups such as diamond, gold, platinum, etc. You might have seen this with airlines memberships, credit cards, etc. Right? So we typically don't run those type of programs in the actual databases where the business actually happens. And this information need not be live. I don't have to change you on the spot from one category to another category. Over a period of time, I will observe the patterns, and then I will assign the appropriate level of membership. And all these things can be done in some downstream application. For example, if I want to run a loyalty program for my customers, if I can get the customer information from this critical database, and then only the orders placed by customers pre-aggregated up to a level based on the KPIs defined to run the loyalty program, then I should be able to offload all the loyalty program related operations into this database. I can build a website on top of this database, and I should be able to run the loyalty program for my customers. So these days, most of the applications are built using microservice architecture. Even if you go to the linkedin.com, it all based on microservice architecture. So at that point, so even if you are seeing from the same website, there might be different microservices serving different use cases, and that's where things will fall in place. I will get into all these details as we proceed further. Don't worry too much about it. All you need to understand is sometimes we might want to fetch subset of the data, sorry for that, subset of the data from the database, and create another database as a target, and we will establish the data flow between the source database. And sometimes these target databases might get data sourced from multiple source databases. Okay, so we get the data into this target database, and we build application on top of it, which will complement our existing business. And then we have big data clusters. Typically, big data clusters are used for larger enterprises where you have too many data points where you want to get into a centralized location. And from that centralized location, again, you want to source some target applications. That's where the big data clusters or data lakes comes into picture, or even enterprise data warehouses in the traditional terms comes into picture. And then external apps, most of the platforms like amazon.com, etc., actually provide the data in the form of REST APIs also. Even Twitter provides the data in the form of REST API. And the actual platform owners should be able to serve those REST APIs which are exposed to their customers, or to their vendors, or to the public, etc. That being said, we need to get the data from these sources into these targets. That's where the data integration comes into picture. And data engineering is nothing but this data integration from different sources into different targets. Don't worry too much about the terms which I have used at the bottom. Um, just keep in mind that there will be few data sources and few data targets, and we have to get data from the sources into the targets. That's where the data engineering comes into picture, and that's what we'll be focusing as part of this program. And then I have given the example of only databases and log files for a simple e-commerce platform, but there can be other types of sources also. The data might be coming from mainframe systems, the data might be coming from IoT devices, the data might be coming from REST APIs also. For some of the enterprises, some of the data might be coming from other vendors who provide the data in the form of REST APIs. So there will be different types of data that will be coming to us, and we have to build the data lake using it, or we have to integrate the data from these different sources into these targets, and we have to take it further. So when it comes to IoT device data, even if you are building something on top of your phone is also considered as the IoT device, because it generates a lot of data at your phone level, and you have to get the data source to big data cluster in many cases and build some applications on top of it. Even these days, a lot of cars have the devices which will generate data about the status of the car, whether it is broken or working fine, if there are flat tires in the car, if the driver of the car requires roadside assistance even before he call. These days, the companies can figure out using IoT approach, and then to run analytics on top of it, we have to, and also not only analytics but also to provide some real-time support for the affected users. We should be able to build applications accordingly, and in all those scenarios we come across the data engineering. So data integration is one aspect of data engineering. We can use the term data engineering rather than just data integration, or we can actually use these things synonymously also. That being said, what will be the approach for this training? First, we will actually visualize using Tableau, uh, and that there also we'll be first visualizing using files using Tableau Public or Tableau Desktop. Then we'll try to connect to the database and switch from the files to the database. Then we'll actually talk about building data pipeline using Python Pandas. Then we'll talk about orchestrating using Airflow. Then we'll talk about build a data pipeline using Python and Spark. Then we'll talk about orchestrate using Airflow again. This time, the solution is built using Python and Spark, and the same thing will be deployed or orchestrated using Airflow. Then we'll talk about building data pipeline using AWS, EMR, and Airflow. Then we'll talk about building data pipeline using Databricks and Airflow. These are cloud-based data engineering. So the last two are the examples for cloud-based data engineering. Then we'll actually talk about streaming pipeline using Kafka and Spark structure streaming. Then we'll talk about streaming pipeline using AWS Stack. So that is the overall agenda and approach from the functional requirement perspective. Okay, and don't get overwhelmed with all these technologies. Your 60% of the effort will go in Python and Spark, and then 10 to 15% will go to Kafka. Rest of the effort will go to the other tools. So as long as you are good in Python and Spark, you are almost 60% there, and you can actually start marketing yourself for the jobs, for the data engineer roles at the entry level to 3 years experience. If you learn Kafka, Spark structured streaming, and also building streaming pipelines using AWS Stack, then you can apply for more number of jobs based upon your capabilities. Not everyone might be able to deliver all these things within 3 to 4 months. That's where I will be segregating the groups, and I will make sure that at least everyone who is part of this program are good at Python and Spark, and then orchestrating using Airflow. Up to the 5th point, you will be I will make sure that you are good at it by the end of 3 to 4 months. Then if you are interested, you can or if you think that you will be able to pick additional skills while exploring the job opportunities, you can start adding the additional skills over a period of time, and I'll be there to support you even beyond 3 to 4 months. Okay, and all this is free. You don't need to pay anything. Probably you might have to invest some money on the cloud platform, where you might want to sign up and spend some money if your credits are not available. uh, Hardly it will be around $100 over a period of 3-4 months. If you spend $100, I'll be surprised. You will not be even spending penny in most of the cases. But if you make some mistakes, you might run out of your credits, and that's where you might end up spending some money. Otherwise, you will not be spending any money. You should be able to leverage the credits from GCP, which I have covered already. And then you should be able to use the $300 credit given by GCP, and you should be able to practice whatever I have been teaching. I'll be giving you lab access for 6 months, and that too for free. I will not be charging anything for you. As long as you show the commitment, I will also help you in marketing very aggressively. There are some marketing strategies which I have in my mind based upon your convenient or comfort level, and also based upon your commitment. I will try to market you as well. And for this batch, I will not be charging anything from you at any point in time. I will not be seeking money even after you get the job. I will be just probably I might make some money when I market you to some of the employers if they are willing to pay sourcing fee. I'll be making money, but I will not put any strings even for them. If they just want to test the waters about the quality of the resources which I refer, they can use this, and you can take it further. Okay, so before getting further and explaining about current state, I want to take these questions which are there as part of the Zoom. uh, when I actually conduct the Zoom sessions, eventually everything should be driven by Slack. Even though you are in the Zoom session, any important question which you think should be addressed, especially the technical question, make sure you copy and paste it into Slack, or have a backup of that question, and make sure that you maintain it in the Slack. That way, I will go through my Slack history and try to identify these important questions, and I will try to address those things, even if I could not explain to you directly. That being said, now let me actually first take care of this Hari Prasad. Okay, I'm actually adding him to Slack. Just give me a moment. Let me add Hari Prasad to the Slack, and then I will take it further. So you are already in Slack workspace, I guess. So I just have to figure out your name. If you can figure out your Slack username, I will try to add you. So I don't see. So the Slack channel is US Grads 2020 summer. Uh, no, actually it will. Can you ping me in CCI 175, or even personally, if you can ping me in the Slack, I should be able to get your name, and then I can take it further. So now let me take few questions before I come back and fix the issue. So the next question is, how does log file in a server help me in booking tickets? So log file in server will not be helping you in booking the tickets. That is not the example for booking the tickets. That is the example for yeah, even that, right? So um, from the perspective of the booking tickets, I will explain how the issue is addressed in a moment. It is not about reading the data from log files, but when it comes to Amazon.com, as you go to the website and as you search, they will capture the traffic, whatever you are doing as part of the website, and they will not capture the confidential information. They will only capture what is the product you are trying to purchase, and probably your demographics, from which area you are trying to place this request and all, but they will not capture your contact number or email, etc. They will only get your ID and probably your demographic location based upon the IP. And then what all you are trying to purchase, they can group it using IP address. And then also based on time, we should be able to identify the pattern, and then we can store the data and run some analytics over a period of time by understanding the patterns. When it comes to irctc.com or irctc.co.in, so instead of storing the data in the database and search and provide the search results off of the database, what they have done, they have implemented something like in-memory cache. So if you have heard about Redis, so those are examples for in-memory cache. There is a company called as Pivotal, who are pioneers in Spring framework. If you are from Java background, you should be you should have heard about Pivotal. Pivotal are the ones who invented the Spring Boot framework or Spring framework. So Pivotal also have a product called as Jumpfire. So using that Jumpfire, actually what IRCTC have done is it have cached the all the railway connectivity information, the from station to station, or all the stations and the trains mapped to those stations in a in-memory cache which is supported by Jumpfire. Once they placed in memory, because such is primarily read only, you will not be providing or updating any information in real time, right? If you want to just uh, get the list of the trains, all that information is static. Only when you add a new station in the route, or when you add a new train in the route, the data has to be updated and it can be taken care easily. So write path and read path are separated, and using the read path, which is static in nature, you should be able to serve using in-memory cache. That cache will be updated once in a while. Then when you actually go to the seat availability, probably it might have to do some database request, and then it will actually start showing the results from the database. Until that point, you don't need to hit the database at all, searching for the trains between to and fro station and all. So that itself will reduce a lot of search traffic into the database, and obviously database will start performing much better for its core business. So that's how the IRCTC is improved. So there is no case study as such with respect to IRCTC, but I did my own research because I was a Pivotal Cloud Foundry certified trainer. As I was associated with Pivotal Cloud Foundry or Pivotal in the past for some time, I realized that IRCTC actually used some of the Pivotal solutions to actually address that problem. So that is to answer Aditya's question, and also Madhu's question, not Madhu actually, Sri Chakradar's question. Okay. Uh, that being said, now let me look for Hari and try to add him. I still did not get his ping in Slack. We will see, Hari. You can actually send an email about your Slack ID, or you can share the screenshot. I will add you to the group. Okay. That being said, Hari Prasad is saying, I kind of got like an unpaid internship for a startup, trying to learn data engineering passionately. The startup wants to use DreamHost for their websites. DreamHost offers MySQL servers. I just downloaded MySQL Workbench, and my first task is to populate the database with the data files. They will give me probably CSV. I have been watching online videos. Okay, cool. So it will help you. I don't know whatever timelines are. Within next 2 weeks, I'll be covering all the important aspects with respect to loading data into MySQL. I will cover about importing the data. I will be covering about how to write effective JDBC programming, or how to write effective database programs to write the data into the database, so on and so forth. Okay. Okay, so Hariprasad have mentioned in CCA 175. Let me address this so that I don't lose track of this thing. Okay, it is just Hari. I was searching for Hariprasad. Okay, so now let me add Hari to this. There are too many Haris. and I'm not able to figure out which one it was. If you actually update your name to Hariprasad C and let me know, I will take care of it. Okay, because it is not listing all the names also. Okay, that being said, that's it from the questions perspective for now. I will take few more questions as it proceed further. Now let me explain the current state. So the current state is people have set up Docker with MySQL locally for high-end laptops and using GCP if the laptop is not very powerful. And then they are in the process of prototyping using Tableau. I have demonstrated a bit using files, and then I have created some videos to troubleshoot. So if you go to the YouTube playlist, so as part of the Slack channel, the playlist is available as part of the pinned items. Okay. So if you go to the pinned items, I will also train you how to use Slack effectively so that our interaction will be a lot more productive and will be scalable. If you go to the pinned items, this is the YouTube playlist. You can click on this playlist, and also I have created a playlist on Python. This is a program which I have started around 4 weeks back for COVID donors. So I just enrolled those folks who actually donated money for COVID, and I started running this program, and I made videos available as part of this uh, playlist. You have to follow this and start learning Python. There is very good content here. If you're already familiar with Python, let me know. I will pinpoint you which areas you should focus on so that you can catch up with the most relevant stuff as quickly as possible, and you move on to the Spark and other aspects of data engineering. Okay, again, depending upon where you stand, we will plan accordingly. I don't want everyone to follow the same path. I just want to make sure that some of the guys who already have some knowledge with Python and past experience speed up their learning and move ahead and take active be actively participate in the POCs and all, which we'll be talking about in future. Okay, so this is the Python workshop which you have to focus on, and this is the playlist with respect to the data engineering workshop, which is uh, as part of which I am creating this video. Even this video will be added as part of this. Now if you are trying to catch up, you can skip this first one completely. As part of the second one, if you are using Mac, or even if you are having Windows, you can actually watch this video uh, up to I think 40-45 minutes. You can actually spend some time in understanding where that Docker setup starts, and then you just follow that process, and then you should be able to set up Docker based environment on your system, where you will be having MySQL database as well. If you don't have enough configuration, I would recommend you to use GCP, and that GCP part is covered uh, as part of this. Okay, I think even as part of the first video, I have covered a few things related to Docker, I guess. I think if you are having let me see actually, let me confirm here itself. Yeah, even in the first part, I have actually covered uh, setting up Docker and all. So I would highly recommend you to start from here, which is 28 and a half minute. If you are using laptops with 16 GB memory and i7 quad core, either Mac or Windows, you can actually follow from here uh, until the end and try to set up the Docker environment on your PC itself, and you can ignore GCP for now. However, if you want to set up on GCP also just to practice how to take care of it in GCP, you are feel free to do so. But the information related to GCP is covered. Okay, I have closed the playlist. Let me open this playlist once again. The using GCP and setting up the Docker-based environment with MySQL database is covered as part of this. And I have also conducted a couple of troubleshooting sessions related to that. This one is one of the important troubleshooting sessions which you can focus on to troubleshoot any of the issues with respect to the Docker. Spend some time, make sure the environment is set up. It might take 3 to 4 hours depending upon your background. If you are completely new, you might be making silly mistakes where you might be spending time. Feel free to ask questions in the Slack. I will try to help you as much as I can. And also other folks are also volunteering and helping others. So make sure you leverage the others' experience as well. Then everyone have to go through the introduction to prototyping using Tableau files. I think you can skip this and you can actually go to this one directly, prototyping using Tableau and files. And then you can actually take it further. You can skip this video completely. So once again, I am reiterating, if you have a Mac or Windows with 16 GB RAM, i7 quad core, you should watch this video from 28 and half minute till the end until the Docker is set up. If you are not having that configuration as part of your laptop will become extremely slow if you set up Docker desktop on your Windows with less than 16 GB RAM. In that case, I would highly recommend you to go through this video completely and set up the Docker in Ubuntu. Why we are using Docker in Ubuntu instead of directly installing MySQL? I just want to make sure that you are comfortable with the Docker also. Docker is also very important skill going forward. So you'll be learning these most relevant technologies over a period of time. And another advantage of using Docker is it is very easy to simulate any database as part of that VM. So we'll be provisioning VM with 4 vCores and 15 GB memory. You can actually simulate Postgres database, MongoDB database, MySQL database, any database you want, you should be able to simulate very easily with Docker. Okay, so that being said, make sure you focus on this and set up the Docker in GCP, especially if you don't have the high-end configuration laptop. If you don't have i7 quad core, or if you don't have 16 GB memory, you have to fall back onto the GCP immediately. You need to have i7 quad core 16 GB memory if you want to directly use your system without GCP. And GCP gives $300 credit for year, and you should be able to use those credits very effectively. There are people in attendees list. If they want to ask questions, I'm just adding them to panelists. They can unmute themselves and ask questions at any given point in time. Let me spend some time here and make sure that everyone is moved to panelist. Okay, so spend the next 3 days in setting up the environment. If you have time, just try to think what this is all about, what Docker is all about and all. With respect to Tableau, I also gave a task to everyone where they have to go to the data model and they have to come up with with uh, 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 with some of the requirements to perform the department performance analysis. Let me actually see where it is. I will also pinpoint that so that you can spend some time on that. So if you skip all these things through, yeah. So I think what you can do, right, instead of going to the next video related to Tableau, first spend time on this also. So here I have covered few aspects with respect to the data model. You can see here I have shown the data model and all. And I will make sure that this document which I have used as part of this talk is available as part of the pinned items, so that you can use this document for your reference, understand the data model and take it further. I'll be covering the normalization concepts and all as well in next couple of weeks. At the time you will start understanding all these aspects by yourself. So Anand is saying 15 i5 16 GB, will it work? So let me actually go back here. There are a few questions in a sequence. I will start answering the questions in sequence. So Aditya have asked, is it best practice for using Docker for stateful applications? Like here we are here we are launching MySQL in Docker. How it will be helpful for now? Yeah, so very good question, Aditya. For persisting data in production, we will not be using Docker. But for learning as part of the development process and all, we use Docker locally, but when it comes to the actual implementation in production, we don't use that. I think I have covered that as part of one of the videos. Thank you for reminding me that. And I will be talking about the concepts related to Docker very soon, so that you understand the relevance of it. For now, it is primarily to simulate the databases easily, to practice yourself without spending too much of time in installing each of these tools separately. And also, eventually, we should be able to come up with scripts, and you should be able to execute those scripts to simulate certain data related aspects also using Docker. At any point in time, you should be able to terminate, remove the container, and then add the container, and source the data to the container in automated fashion. We'll try to be at that level over a period of time. For now, we'll just explore Docker to simulate the environment. We'll not be using Docker in actual implementations. Very good question. Then Shravan is asking, sir, you mentioned access to lab. How will lab be useful? So if you go back to the curriculum, okay, if you go back to the curriculum, the main topic in the curriculum is nothing but building data pipeline using Python pandas, orchestrate using Airflow, and then building data pipeline using Python and Spark. So this is where the lab will come handy. So I'll be providing access to 10 node cluster. Okay, the 10 node cluster have 320 GB plus memory, and almost 400 not 400 cores, sorry, almost 200 cores capacity, 200 CPUs. It's a true enterprise level cluster. Most of the POCs in enterprises starts with that configuration. Even some of the production systems run on that configuration. So you'll be getting access to that cluster to learn the most important skill with respect to data engineering, which is nothing but Spark and also Kafka. So these two are the ones which you'll be learning as part of the lab. Even Python and all, you should be able to access the material which I'll be providing to you as part of the lab. So even with respect to Python, you'll be spending quite a bit of time in the labs itself, and I'll get access to the labs very soon. Probably this weekend, I will try to give lab access. But I want to give lab access only for those who are serious in learning. So that's why I have deferred a bit. I will see the pattern over a period of time. Whoever is serious in learning, only for those I will try to give the lab access. Okay. So that is to answer Shravan's question. You will love it if you already have some experience in Python. Even if you don't have experience, as you start using the lab, once you pick some key skills, especially from the data processing perspective, it will come very handy, and you will be focusing on actual learning instead of troubleshooting the blockers. Due to lack of experience, you will struggle quite a bit, and those can be easily taken care. And also, once you start using the labs, even if you are stuck somewhere, I'll be able to impersonate like you, and I should be able to troubleshoot where the issue is, and I should be able to fix it. So very good environment to practice. Okay, so that being said, now the next question is Anand. He's asking about i5 16 GB works. You have to have quad core. That is more important. I don't think many i5 laptops have quad core. Most of them are dual core. If you have i5 quad core 16 GB, give it a try. If it is becoming slow, then you can switch to GCP. And GCP will give you $300 credit, which is good for 1 year. And Vinod is asking, can you tell us that what are the prerequisites for this course? I think you are there from the beginning. I don't know why you are asking these questions. So if you actually go to the prerequisites, these are the prerequisites. You just have to be good in basics of programming. Okay, so I will give an I will use a phrase which I like from Sadhguru. I follow up to an extent. I'm not a ardent follower of Sadhguru. So you need to keep in mind about action in inaction and inaction in action. So what are the examples? The example for action in inaction, or first let me take the example of inaction in action. So even though sometimes we are so active, okay, it will not add any value. What is the example for it? Monkey will be always be very active. It will be doing all kinds of stupid stuff. And in the end, even though it put all its energy, it haven't got anything concrete in the end, and also it dies very fast because of that, right? When it comes to the other example, which is nothing but action in inaction, the example what Sadhguru have given is judge sits in the court. He controls the noise in the court. Everyone respects him, and he listens to the arguments between the lawyers representing the convict and victim, and alleged convict and victim. And in the end, he will give the judgment, and everyone have to honor. So he will be inactive for a long time, but whenever he passes the judgment, everyone have to listen. So we have to make sure that we are in the second category, action in inaction. So we have to make sure we control our just to ask too many questions. We have to put we have to be focused while I am teaching, or while I am actually supporting as part of the Slack. You have to spend time in understanding those aspects like a judge, and then you have to ask the question. That question should add value to the to everyone's time. When I create this Slack channel with almost 125 people are there, we should minimize the usage of Slack, yet it should be very effective. So try to stick to that action in action. Make sure you follow whatever I am telling for now. If things are not clear also, make sure just follow. You can come back to me with the questions. I will support you. If you are stuck somewhere, if you after doing some research, frame the question properly that I am running into this issue. That way I will be able to troubleshoot that issue and fix it faster. So there are few aspects which you need to pick from the Slack perspective to make it a lot more effective. I will conduct another session for everyone, but for now, just to make sure that you streamline your thought process and come back with the questions which can be answered by me. You have to think from the other's perspective all the time. Okay, and first thing is you have to be very focused, and you have to control the urge of asking questions, and then you have to take it further. Don't ask too many questions, and don't try to don't be hyper as part of the Slack, because if you post a message, 125 people have to read, and if they spend 1 minute, we are wasting 125 minutes of human brain. So that's where I want to iterate. Nothing to do with respect to anyone, but as a common practice, we have to stick to these etiquette, so that it is a lot more productive for everyone in the group. Okay, we are putting a lot of time, even though it is free, right? Even though it is free for you, it is not actually free. You are actually spending uh, almost 80 to 160 hours per month of your adult life, right? So if you count for three months, you are almost spending 240 to 480 hours. That is the investment which you are putting. Don't think it is free. Don't take it is light. Don't take it lightly. You are putting this 240 hours to 480 hours of your adult life, the prime time of your life, into this. That is the investment you are putting, and you have to give immense respect of not only your time but also others' time, and you have to take it to the next level. Or you have to act accordingly. Then only we'll go to the next level as the group. Okay, so don't take it personally. Just make sure that you are cognizant about the others' time and effort, and react accordingly. Already I see some of the people are helping others. Try to leverage the group, but frame the questions so that he can troubleshoot the issues quickly for you and fix your issues quickly. I will help you definitely over a period of time. Things will fall in place within 2 to 4 weeks. At this time, if you are struggling, just post the question in the Slack. I will try to identify the pattern, and I will try to help all those guys who are struggling in the similar manner like you. Uh, don't take my word completely seriously. continue asking questions, but at some point or the other, you need to build the discipline of asking more relevant questions by providing all the information which can be leveraged to reproduce and take it further. I have already covered details with respect to the prerequisites, and I already covered the roadmap also. I have given the topics. You just go back to the video, Vinod, and you will get the response about what will be covered as part of the next 4 months. And when it comes to Aniket, he said, what all days will there be training? As I mentioned to you, it all depends upon your comfort level. You have to put 20 to 40 hours of time. I'll be available dedicated from Monday to Sunday, not just Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., as many days as I can. Earlier, I thought of only be available for 4 or 5 days, but now I will try to be available all the 7 days. Okay. Because earlier I thought of only including 30 people. Now I want to expand it to much larger group. As there is a larger group, I just want to spend more time in supporting you. So I'll be spending dedicated time Monday to Sunday, unless I have some emergency meetings as part of my other jobs where I'm working. I might switch around, but I will be there dedicated. Almost from morning 10 a.m. to probably evening 9 a.m. sorry 9 p.m. I'll be watching the Slack channel, and sometimes I might answer some of your questions. And so there will be additional support as well. And also there is a group of people who will be supporting you. That being said, that's it for today. So let's let's start communicating over Slack. And if you run into any issues, let me know. I will try to address those. I'm open for questions for a few minutes. You can unmute yourself and ask questions. Otherwise, we will wrap up for today. And thank you very much for being patient throughout the session. And I hope you will have a smooth ride for the training. And sorry for the confusion. Okay, because I have scheduled meeting for tomorrow, then I have rescheduled for today. I will make sure that I fix that Zoom issue so that I don't run into confusion again. So you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Okay, I'll give 10-15 seconds. If there are no questions, we'll just wrap up. Okay, then see you in the Slack. So you can reach out to me in the Slack whenever you want. I'll try to help you. Bye.